There are a lot of things you can do in Fallout 4, ranging from building bases to saving wastelanders to deciding the fate of the Commonwealth. When you're not busy with another settlement that needs your help though, it's a good idea to be on the lookout for all of the collectible books, which you can find strewn across the wasteland. These magazine sets give you a range of perks, both cosmetic and combat enhancing, that will help you become a master of the wasteland. The set this video focuses on is a comic book series called Astoundingly Awesome Tales. Most magazine sets that are combat-driven focus on one specific skill and incrementally improve it exclusively for use in VATS. The Awesome series, however, is a collection of 14 comics with each giving an entirely different beneficial enhancement to your character. For this reason, these magazines are the most hit and miss, with some being an absolute necessity for a particular playstyle, with others being entirely useless. Regardless of application though, collecting them all still makes for a nice display should you build a few book racks wherever you call home. So, let's get right to the meat of the guide and where to find each volume. We'll start with the issue titled Deep Sea Terror: Sinister Seafood Strikes, which gives you an overall boost of 5% to all of the damage you deal at night. This comic is located at Outpost Zimonja, one of the settlement sites on the northern reaches of the map. It's almost on the exact middle point of the upper boundary, a good distance east of Vault 111 and Sanctuary Hills. The magazine is sitting on the main workbench you use to modify the settlement, and the only thing you have to do before grabbing it is deal with all of the raiders who, initially, call the place home. The next issue to cover is titled Attack of the Fishmen, which, unsurprisingly, grants you 5% additional damage against all Mirelurks. This magazine is located at Skylane's Flight 1981, which is decently far east of Sanctuary and directly south of the settlement site Outpost Zimonja. Your main threat when exploring this area is bots and some potential scavengers, but the book's specific location is in the nose of the crashed plane, which is the eastmost section, sitting on the back of a toilet beneath the cockpit. Now for the volume titled Attack of the Metal Men, which is all about robots, so naturally this comic book decreases all damage taken from robots by 5%. It's located at the Dunwich Borer site, which is basically an open rock quarry on the east side of the map. It's almost directly between the Slog settlement site and the Museum of Witchcraft. To find this magazine, you'll have to fight your way through an entire community of raiders to reach the bottom of the exterior quarry. Then, once at the bottom, you'll need to look to the east side of the hole to find the access point for the interior section of the dig. Once inside, follow the linear path to the deep hole, with the stairs spiraling around the outside wall. This is the last place with raiders and just before a chain door where you begin to encounter feral ghouls. It's at the bottom of this pit where you'll find the book sitting on an armor workbench, just across from Bedlam's terminal. Radiation in Fallout will always be something you have to deal with, and this next comic book, titled Rise of the Radiated, helps by increasing the amount of rads removed by Radaway by 5%. The book is located at the East Boston Prep School, which is on the east side of the map, just west of East City Downs, due south of the Finch Farm settlement site, and due north from the Pridwin airship, assuming you're far enough through the game's main story for it to be present. Anyway, to find the specific location of this magazine, enter the prep school through the front doors and hop up the stairs to the second floor. Then hang a left down the corridor, turn a right at the end, and up a second flight of stairs to get to the third floor. From here, turn left when the hall branches and go through the door next to the hole in the hall floor. Weave your way through 2 rooms to reach the other side of the hole, then look for a Nuka-Cola machine, next to which is a room full of busted computers with the book sitting between 2 of them. This volume of Astoundingly Awesome Tales is titled The Mad Russian's Revenge, and for reasons that the title can't hope to explain, it grants you 5 points of permanent poison resistance. This may not seem particularly useful, but when dealing with the stabbing stinger of a rad scorpion, or any mutated bug, it can be pretty useful in not dying. To find this book, you'll have to find the Pickman Gallery, which is an unassuming apartment tucked away in downtown Boston. It's southeast and across the river from Bunker Hill and just northwest of the Old North Church. Pikmin Gallery is a bit of a maze, but the most simple way to explain finding the magazine is to reach the end. To be more detailed though, after entering through the front door, use the stairs to go up to the 3rd floor, then pass through the door at the top of the stairs and hang a left. Directly ahead, you should see a hole in the wall partially obscured by some bookshelves. Going inside the wall will get you down to the basement. At this point, the path becomes quite linear and leads you to a waterway. You want to follow the canal to its end and climb out using a series of stairs, which eventually leads to a makeshift bridge made out of tubes and pipes. It's not much after this that you'll find the final chamber of the dungeon with the loot chest, in front of which should be the magazine. Not all perk books are in easy-to-find locations, including this awesome issue titled When Apes Go Bananas. This issue grants an additional 5% damage output whenever you use the unique Cryolator gun, but grabbing this magazine ranges from immediately easy to annoyingly difficult based on your relationship with the Railroad faction, as it's located in their base of operations. In the event that you've already discovered and joined the Railroad, all you need to do is head to their HQ in the Old North Church and grab it off of the desk next to a broken terminal, just west of the large table in the middle of the room. If, by chance, you haven't even discovered the Railroad faction yet, you have some work to do. There are multiple ways to find out about the faction, but one of the most direct methods is by attempting to talk to guards in either Good Neighbor or Diamond City. Eventually, one of them will tell you to follow the Freedom Trail. Once you hear this, the quest Road to Freedom will be added to your log. Depending on your desire for puzzle solving, your next job is to head to the Boston Commons, where a tourbot is roaming around a dry fountain. You want to follow the red line on the ground and check all of the dials on the ground for clues about an entry passcode. The red line gets lost under rubble and trash often, but so long as you follow it in straight lines when it disappears, you shouldn't have too much trouble. The trail ends at the Old North Church, and when you hop inside, enter the main worship hall and turn hard right to find another doorway on your right that leads down to the basement. Down there, you'll find a spinning dial that's an exact match to the emblems you found along the red line above ground. Use it to enter the passcode you deciphered from the clues you picked up, or just look in the bottom left corner of the video for the answer. Don't worry, no one's judging you for either being in a hurry or failing to figure out a 3rd grade cipher. Anyway, after you put in the passcode, a secret door will open and you'll have a meeting with Railroad agents. Unfortunately, if you thought that was all, you're wrong, and you need to agree to keep their base a secret, and then they'll send you on a retrieval mission called Tradecraft, which you have to complete before you can gain access to their headquarters. Only after doing all of this can you waltz in and find the magazine resting next to a busted terminal on a desk. Now for a comic book titled The Man Who Could Stop Time. And what would you know, it helps you in Fallout's signature bullet time VATS mechanic by giving you a permanent 5 additional action points to spend. To find this book, look for the Park Street Station, which is in the Boston Commons and just southwest of Good Neighbor. Head down into the station and follow the linear path fighting off the enemies to find Vault 114. Going through Vault 114 is actually necessary to complete the main story of Fallout 4, so without giving anything away, you need to free a special NPC who will help you go through sections of the vault you can't access. What you're specifically looking for is signage leading you to the laundry. From the atrium, which is the big room outside where you free the NPC, you want to go through the only door on the ground floor. Pass through the hall beyond, at the end of which you'll find the stairs. At the top of them, you'll find the room with the hanging laundry sign. Not far away, you'll find the magazine sitting on a crate, just waiting for you. There's no shortage of guns across the Commonwealth, but some are more unique than others, and near the top of that list is the Alien Blaster. If by chance you found this special weapon, or one of the DLC variants, then this next comic book will be of particular use. Titled Invasion of the Zetans, it confers upon the player a 5% permanent increase in damage dealt by the Alien Blaster. This magazine is located inside Hubris Comics, which is a ghoul-infested office once responsible for making much of the available reading material found across the Commonwealth. The building is located southwest of Goodneighbor, just west of the Boston Commons, and a good deal northeast of Diamond City. To find the book's specific location, from the front door, find the stairwell accessed via the back wall. Passing through the door at the top of the steps, head for the office on the right, and then through the right door in that office. Head forward to find the second set of stairs and follow them up. At the top, hang a right and go through the door with the blinking "On Air" sign above it. You'll find the last set of stairs, at the top of which is a studio. Look for the bathroom/dressing room behind the staircase, where the magazine rests on a coffee table. If there's anything that's true about the Fallout games, is how there will always be super mutants, and they will probably want you dead. Which is why the comic book titled Rise of the Super Mutants is a boon to any lone survivor, as it grants you 5% more damage against all super mutants. To find it, you'll need to head to Trinity Church, which is at Trinity Plaza in the heart of Boston, nearly an equal distance between Diamond City and Goodneighbor. It's not hard to find, as you just need to go inside the church and look on the pulpit in the main worship hall. However, it is guarded by a super mutant wielding a minigun, and he has plenty of company, so be ready for a fight. When you get into a firefight with any of the hostile inhabitants of the Commonwealth, there's a half-decent chance you'll be looking down a scope when picking off many of your enemies. If you are a lover of having scopes on your guns, then this awesome comic book titled The Starlet Sniper will be particularly useful to you, as it grants an extra 5% damage when you fight with a scoped weapon. To find this issue, you just need to head to the Coast Guard Pier, which is directly southwest of Diamond City and directly west of the settlement site Fairline Hill Estates. You need only deal with the super mutants in the area and then hop down into the basement. The magazine can be found inside of the lockup cell, which you can pick open should you see fit, but you can also access the terminal on the nearby desk to unlock the door as well. No hacking required. Given how much combat you'll do in Fallout 4, healing is important, and this issue of Astoundingly Awesome Tales is super helpful for doing just that. Titled My Brain and I, it confers upon the player the ability to regenerate 1 point of health every in-game minute, which is about 1 HP every 3 real-time seconds. This effect also works whenever you sit down and use the wait command, giving it extra utility. To find this magazine, you'll need to head to the Boston Mayoral Shelter, which is on the far west side of the map, south of Sanctuary Hills, more west than north of Diamond City, and just southwest of Fort Hagen. To get inside, use the terminal in the nearby pop-up structure to remotely open the main entrance. Inside, follow the linear path to the elevator and take it down. Exiting the lift, go straight forward past a few ceiling-mounted turrets and through a door on your left. Follow the stairs down and you'll pass through a dining area that enters into a living space. Pass through the room on the left and the double doors. At the bottom of a small set of stairs, turn right and head for the room at the end of the hall. Beyond is a large bedroom with the magazine sitting on the bedside table. There are a lot of ghouls in Fallout 4, most of them being the zombified irradiated type. Thus, gaining any sort of an edge against these screaming, running freaks should be a top goal on anyone's list of priorities. Well, luckily, you can do 5% more damage against all ghouls if you collect the astoundingly awesome comic book titled Curse of the Burned. This issue is located in the Glowing Sea, specifically the Crater of Adam, the very place where the bomb landed during the game's introduction. It's located in the southwest corner of the map, along the dashed border of what typically defines the limits of the explorable world area. The primary challenge in retrieving this magazine is how it's located smack in the middle of the Glowing Sea. The entire area is laden with radiation and full of high-level enemies, but once you arrive at the crater itself, you'll find the followers of Adam, who won't attack you so long as you don't attack them. The leader of this small group of radiation worshippers is Mother Isolde, who should be standing in front of the middle shack on the west side of the crater. It's just up the stairs behind her where you'll find the magazine sitting on a coffee table. One of the challenges of living in the nuclear post-apocalypse is dealing with radiation, but luckily you can gain an additional 5 points of rad resistance if you pick up this handy comic book titled Giant Insects Invade. The beauty of this perk is how it applies to all forms of radiation, no matter if it comes from walking into an irradiated area, by drinking tainted water, or eating bad food. Finding this book, however, involves a dangerous trek into the glowing sea, the area where the main nuclear blast happened. The site you're looking for is a large pyramid-shaped bunker called Sentinel Site. It's located so far south that it's past what would normally be the border of the map, southeast of the crater of Adam. After you find the location and head inside, turn left past the main door and follow the catwalk down to a security door you have to press a button to open. In the room beyond, follow the stairs down. At the base of them, you'll find the magazine on your right, sitting on a bank of controls. If you're a dog lover and play Fallout 4, then you probably enjoy adventuring with the four-legged companion, Dogmeat. If that is the case, then giving him an extra 10% damage reduction is a no-brainer, which you can do by finding the awesome comic book titled Have Dog, Will Travel. However, not all magazines in Fallout 4 are in easy-to-access locations. In this case, you need to find your way to the Institute, which is part of the game's main story. No joke, the only real way to get in is to just follow the main story up to the quest Institutionalized. Those are vague directions, but in the interest of not giving away any of the game's main story surprises, that's really all you need to know. Once you have full access to the Institute, though, finding the magazine is fairly easy. From the main atrium, head north into the commissary and up the stairs. Follow the steps all the way up to the top and enter the living quarters with the name Holdren stamped on the door. Inside, look for the door that leads to the private balcony, where you'll find the magazine resting on a small table. One small additional note about this magazine, though. Depending on which faction you choose to side with during the course of the main story, it's possible for the Institute to become permanently inaccessible. If this happens and you haven't grabbed the book beforehand, you're flat out of luck for trying to go back and get it. That's everything for the comic book series Astoundingly Awesome Tales. And while no two volumes do the same thing, hopefully there was something that you found useful. If nothing else, maybe it contributes to a love of completing collections in Fallout 4. Thanks for watching and listening. My name is William Strife, and if you want to support the creation of more video guides like these, check out the video description. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.